Hi guys, and welcome back to another championship prediction video. Round 2 here. How many scores did I get correct in the first round? Just the one. Hull beating Bristol City 2-1. Now before we get into this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into our first fixture on Friday night. And we start off with Blues against Huddersfield. Now Blues got off to a decent start against tough opposition away, 0-0 against Luton. I'll take that, we look very strong defensively. We look like a unit, which I haven't really been able to say for a while. So a good first game from us. Huddersfield on the other hand really struggled against Burnley, only lost it 1-0, but they didn't muster a single shot on target, didn't look like scoring. They really seemed to struggle to adapt to life after Carlos Corberán, which makes sense because he did so well there last season, but it wasn't a great first game. Now whether it was the fact that Burnley are really good, or that Huddersfield were lacking a bit and did seem a bit slow, I'm not sure. But basing it off what I've currently seen, I think that Blues can keep another clean sheet here and we can just about nick a goal. So Blues to win 1-0. Norwich take on Wigan next. And it was a shock loss for Norwich against Cardiff. Wasn't expecting it. But yet they lost that first game. Wigan drew 0-0 with Preston. I think Norwich now at home will win this game. But if they don't, I'd start to be a little bit concerned. I know it's only 2 games in, but these are games that you'd really expect Norwich to be winning, considering they're the favourites to win the league. So I'm going to go all out on Norwich. Same score as I went last week, 2-0. Next up, Bristol City take on Sunderland. Now Bristol City lost 2-1 against Hull in their first fixture. Andreas Weimann on the score sheet as usual for them, but they couldn't get the job done and came away with nothing. Sunderland went 1-0 up against Coventry. Victor Gyökeres with a very good goal equalled it up and it ended 1-1, which is a point I'm sure Sunderland will take, but after being in the lead, they'd have wanted to try and hang on for all 3. Now this game I see going down the middle because Sunderland away doesn't have the same feeling as Sunderland at home at the Stadium of Light back in the Championship. And I think Bristol City have the firepower up front to cause a few issues. So I'm going down the middle, 1-1. Burnley take on Luton now. And Burnley opened up the Championship brilliantly. A dominant display over Huddersfield. Only won it 1-0, but they were by far the better side. And it was weird to see, first of all, Vincent Kompany in charge of Burnley, and secondly, Burnley playing entertaining football. So that was a nice surprise on a Friday evening. They are up against Luton, who drew 0-0 against Blues in their first game. It was a very even game. I think Burnley are going to have too much quality here, so I'm going to go Burnley to win 2-0. Preston take on Hull now, and Preston drew 0-0 against Wigan, a game I'm pretty sure they'd be hoping that they could have won, and I'm not sure how Preston are going to get on this season. They were very hard to beat under Ryan Lowe last season, but they didn't win too many games either. They were the highest drawing team in the division. Now Hull won 2-1 against Bristol City last week. And I'm a bit stuck here. I don't know whether to go down the middle, or I don't know whether I think Hull are just going to nick it. So I'm going to go for the surprise. Hull to win 2-1. QPR up against Middlesbrough next. And QPR lost 1-0 to Blackburn in their first game. Not the ideal start. Middlesbrough, they drew 1-1 with West Brom. A good point against the West Brom side that I think looked very strong. And I think Middlesbrough are going to take all 3 points here. Middlesbrough win 2-1. Up next is Reading versus Cardiff. And Reading, they lost 1-0 to Blackpool last week. Wasn't expecting it when they've, got some fit strikers, but they couldn't get anything going and they lost it in the end. Not an ideal start. They're up against the Cardiff side that pulled off a massive shock last week, winning 1-0 against Norwich. Fair play to Cardiff. I thought that the players would take a very long time to gel, but getting a result like that under your belt will really help your confidence. And I see the same again. Cardiff to win 1-0. Sheffield United take on Millwall now, and this is a big one that's very hard to call. Sheffield United were handed a very tough first game against Watford. They lost it 1-0. And Watford looked brilliant in that game. But Sheffield United, I think they're quite hard to judge off the back of it because they did have some chances. But Watford's team is way too strong for the Championship at the moment. And they're up against a Millwall side that did very, very well in their first game, winning 2-0 against Stoke. And Millwall looked good. Charlie Cresswell scored both goals on loan from Leeds, a centre-back. Fair play to him for that. And I think Millwall can do something this season. As far as this game goes, it's Millwall away. Millwall like a draw. So I'm going to go something a bit more exciting than usual, but still down the middle, 2-2. Stoke up against Blackpool. And Stoke last week lost 2-0 to Millwall, a poor start. Blackpool, however, they won 1-0 against Reading. Some big points because I think it's a Blackpool side that will struggle this season. This one is difficult because Stoke do have quality. They just came up against a very good Millwall side. And Blackpool, I think, can pull off results, but I don't see them winning here. In fact, I see neither team winning. I hate to do it, but I'm on that fence again. I'm getting splinters, 1-1. Swansea take on Blackburn. And Swansea last week drew 1-1 with Rotherham. A result I was definitely not expecting. I thought Swansea would brush them aside quite comfortably. Blackburn won 1-0 against QPR. A good result. But I actually see this one the other way round. I think I'm really invested in this Swansea side. I think they've got good quality. I think their style of play is very good and it's a bit different for the Championship, I guess. But I just feel like Swansea have the better plan, the better quality. So I'm going to go Swansea just to nick it, 1-0. Coventry up against Rotherham next. And these were two sides that both drew 1-1 last week. Coventry against Sunderland and Rotherham against Swansea. How do we see this one going? Rotherham I would never have backed for a point last week. Well, I didn't back them for a point and they got a good point against Swansea. Can they do something similar here? I think they can. I don't know why, but I've just got a feeling that Coventry might not be at their best yet. So I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. And the final game is a brilliant one. I kind of feel bad for West Brom after having Middlesbrough in their first game, but it's West Brom up against Watford. And West Brom did get a point away against Middlesbrough, very good point, but now they face a very tough challenge against a team that has the best squad in the league, realistically, or at least in attack. They have the best attack by far. Whether they'll hold on to them players, I'm not sure, but they've got them for now. Which makes me think that Watford are going to get some more points again. They did beat Sheffield United 1-0 last week. That again is a tough start. Sheffield United, then West Brom. But I think Watford are going to get the best of this exchange. So Watford to win 2-1. So, those are my predictions for the second round of Championship fixtures. What do you think the scores are going to be? Make sure to let me know down in the comments. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell for more Championship content.